Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream here on the Cone Racing League channel. It's tier 1 time for here for round 11 for the Australian Grand Prix here. So as we can see, we have a full lobby today, and I'm first time commentating after a little bit. It's your not the usual commentator, but it's Steven commentating today for you after a little stint away. Hopefully everyone is good within the chat. As you can see, we have dry conditions here for the Australian Grand Prix. Hopefully the audio is good here. And you see we've got dry conditions here as we on board with Resvi in the Aston Martin right here around the Australian GP here. As you can see, the circuit is about 5 point. Let's get the stats up. Of course, everyone loves a bit of stats. The track is about 5.2 kilometers, and it's got about 16 turns. It was about 18 turns until they changed the circuit here in the middle sector. We were just on board with Resvi, and that was one of the turns that got changed. So we quickly go on board with an Alfa Romeo, which is Jeroen. As you can see now clearly on stream, the part that got changed was first of all there was a chicane before going on a little straight, whilst it's now completely full throttle as he's actually invalidated on his outlap, which doesn't really matter. Hopefully he doesn't fly off into Narnia like he did in practice earlier today. In real life we had of course Charles Leclerc win the Australian Grand Prix with a quite dominant performance. Seems to be his last good performance of the season. Just kidding. But his season did go quite downhill after that Australian performance, which was a great one on board with Jeroen. Now coming through the final corner, about to start his lap here in Albert Park. A very exciting Grand Prix. Another turn that got changed right here on board with AJ is turn 13, which was a quite quick corner, but now more of a 90 degrees corner. You really have to slow down for it more, which gives more opportunity for cars to follow, even though Australia is not a circuit easy for overtaking here. So qualifying is going to be very crucial right here. As you have some stats from Nathan right here, Wouter can win the championship if he outscores Nathan himself by 22 points. If you quickly get the point system, of course, Cone uses a different point system than real F1. If we quickly can get that up, we should be able to. Also on board, quickly go on board with Jeroen is about to end his lap here in sector 3, running a little bit wide, caught on stream, going fully over the curbs here, but seems to be completely fine by the game here as he's now coming to the final turn. Seems to be the first one, oh no, the second or third one to complete lap. Supermug has set a 17.6, quickly beaten by Jeroen with a 17.4. So it's an Alfa Romeo 1-2. You don't see that quite often right here as Leon goes to P3. As you saw the spinner, I think that was Supermug, who was struggling quite a lot in practice, has now spun it, but he is currently in P2 with C now in P4 with an 18.1, quickly beaten by FRA Liam with his 18.1. Pretty much an identical time as AJ is now gone in second for the Ferrari team. Here, hopefully he can reminisce that performance of Leclerc in real life. It's going to be a tough one with a competitive lobby, of course, in tier 1 here, but he's going to do his best, and P2 is certainly not a bad spot to be in. As Bonepie is now also done 18.1. You see here Leon Street instead of Liam, who's done 18.1. Steve done 18.1, and then Bonepie done also a 18.1. Now we've got 6 tenths behind him. We've got Waitsy in the Alpha Tauri, and then T Griff in P10 with an 18.9. But still got half of the lobby to set a competitive lap time. Apart from Leroy, who's probably got a qualifying ban. So we've got a retirement on track. We see now on board we've got Superman crashing in the infamous turn 12 on the exit of turn 11, the left right, probably lost on the exit, and that is his qualifying done. Not the performance he wanted. He was struggling in practice, and seemingly that has not changed. As we were on board without, we saw his car with his suspension off the Alfa Romeo. Which is not what he wanted. Wout actually goes into the pits, the championship leader. Needs to outscore Nathan by 22 points to gain the championship. Which is not an easy task, but of course the point system is a bit different. If I can get that one up now. Hey Cone, if you're watching this, you gotta clear your Discord up. Just kidding, just kidding. As only half of the lobby has set a competitive lap time with 2 retirements. So I'm both with Relentless and Knight right now in the Merc. Here. On his outlap right now. And actually before we go on now, everyone is just boxing from their first run. We have a driver promoted from tier 2, which is Marty. Dominated tier 2. Of course, with a brilliant performance in France, 7/10, he managed to get pole position in France, and certainly is going to be pretty competitive in tier 1, I reckon. Because I saw the lap he did in tier 2 France was about P4 or something in tier 1, which is quite nuts, to be honest. But he's here now, and we're gonna look forward to a very exciting Grand Prix as Wouter's actually disconnected from the lobby. Another shame for him. He is currently in P1. Yes, he is. Did I get it wrong? I just got a name probably confused. That's completely fine, but hopefully he can get back in the session right now. Nathan, make sure to invite him, as AJ is going for a second run now. As Nathan actually starting his lap now, or going on his out lap, as we have sorry, what? EA, hopefully you're watching. I don't think this is something an F1 car should be doing. I know how Ferrari have been terrible in real life, but even the Ferrari team don't do stuff like this. So EA, if you're watching, sort this stuff out, because we're trying to enjoy the game. As we've got Evans Joshua, formerly known by JR, just parking his car, looking for the next spot where Latifi can retire. Oh wait, he's not going to drive in around Australia anymore, which is some sort of a shame, but we all know Evans is or Joshua is a better driver than Latifi. Sorry Latifi fans, just the way it is. As we're now on board with Rens for the Mercedes team, he's actually now seen Wouter rejoin the session, who is still glitching in Sector 1. Another lovely glitch from Codemasters and EA, as Rens is completing his first sector with a 27.8. Another turn here, which is quite different. A very high speed corner now is actually invalidated run, which is quite a shame, but if you see now another turn what has been changed compared to the previous edition of the F1 game. It's a very quick corner now, very tough to get right, because the grip is very low here around Albert Park. So it's going to be a very challenging race for the drivers, because of course they're now on the soft tires, which proves the most grip of all the tires. But I reckon on the hard tires, the drivers have to be really aware how much throttle to put on. As Knight is actually in P6 for the Mercedes team, which is quite a decent lap. Another driver setting an 18.1, quickly beaten by Stein, who's on a 17.8 for Haas. Okay. Nicely done so far. 4/10 of Jeroen stop time here, but Jeroen is of course a very quick driver. Not a lot of drivers will get near him unless they're esports drivers. As Liam is actually quickly beaten Steiny now with a 17.6. As Recify is quickly beaten his time in the Aston Martin. Is that as Nathan actually now goes on pole with a 17.2, quickly beaten Recify's time, who did a 17.4, who barely beat Jeroen. But that's a good time from Nathan. I reckon more drivers will go in the 16s. Yeah, as of course most drivers are very competitive and will go in the high 16s, I reckon. But that's a good time from Nathan. As talking about Jeroen just now, he's done a 17.1 for his second run here, taking back pole position for the moment. Here, a 10th ahead of Nathan. But with Wouter having issues here with the game, who's still stuck on track, this could be a good opportunity for Nathan to crawl back some points in the championship here. Because any point he can gain would be an advantage in the standings. If we can quickly get the standings up now. Indeed, it's probably going to be starting last Wouter, which is quite a shame for him. Completely out of his control. But if you want a champion drive, then this is surely one to be if you're going to be starting from the back. There's going to probably be quite a lot of safety cars, I reckon, with of course being a very tough track here around Albert Park. So we scroll down to get the standings up. But actually, looking at the standings now, it's Wouter who's actually dominated the season with 275 points. I haven't really checked the standings that much in Tier 1, and but Wouter seems to be giving a Ferrari another championship after 15 years, because of course the last Ferrari champion in real life was Kimi Räikkönen in 2007, winning by 1 point. Well, I don't think Wouter's gonna beat his opponent by 1 point. He's obliterated the rest of the graded teams with a very comfortable performance for them for this season. With Nathan in second with 136 points, so that the difference is massive right now. So I reckon Nathan is just going out there driving and doing his best and ending the season on a high note. Same for plenty of the drivers here. With Mark down in P19 with only 7 points. Sieb with 10 points. Of course he took a little bit of a break, so but then again 10 points is not something that you want. Leroy, now a reserve, I'm pretty sure, is now on 20 points. And Waitsy on 22 points. So despite the standings and the points being different compared to a real life F1, as Ken has gone to P8 with it. Oh no, actually wrong one. Evans has gone with a 17.5, now in P5 here. So pretty decent job there for Evans. If he can keep that qualifying up, what I can remember from him is he's a really good qualifier, but seems to be more of the pace compared to the other guys in the race. I'm not sure if that's the same, but we'll see how that's going. But P5 is a good starting position if it stays like this. Supermerg another position down, but currently still in P6, so hopefully he will be still in the top 10. You know, it doesn't really matter because you've got a free tire choice. That was a rule change from last year, where you can now pick any tire you want to start on, so expect most guys to start on the medium tire, but we talk about that after the qualifying session here. As Steiny's improving by a 10th and a half, a 44.6 middle sector here for the Haas driver. Took turn 11 pretty nicely, if it's turn 11, and again very nicely done here on the throttle, not too shabby here, not losing the car or any, say, nice lap so far. Coming to the final sector, just behind an Alpine who is starting his lap right now. Good exit there from Steiny, who's coming to the line right now. A little bit of slipstream from the Alpine, and he goes into P7, just beaten his teammate by about 2 times, and now ahead of Liam, just could not beat Supermerg. And I think that will be his last lap of the qualifying session, since there's only 3 minutes left. If he can get around quickly, then he could do another lap potentially. As T-Griff is now going to P9 with a 17.7, a 10th ahead of Ken, who's lost about 3 positions in a space of a minute. So, but that's still decent laps. You want to be, of course, as high up as possible in qualifying. Not I don't think it will be near the top 5 guys, but seems to have decent pace here, T-Griff. So most guys are just waiting for the final runs here. As we see Forza Cone in the chat. Everyone who's watching right now, put down hashtag Forza Cone here. Let's get the hype. Let's get the hype going in the chat here, as there's only 2.5 minutes left of the qualifying session. As most drivers are now starting to come out for their final runs in this qualifying session. Tigers might. It's gonna be very tight. I don't think he'll make another run. As Bumpy is now starting his final run earlier than predicted, earlier than other drivers at least. We go on board with the McLaren driver right now, coming to sector 1, following the Alpine here. I think that's. Yeah, that must be Liam, who's recently just started his lap as well. And that's a 26.7 first sector here, improving by about a tenth, which will bring him around a Leon. Or just a Williams actually. The Williams has got to move out the way, otherwise he might get a penalty. He's getting a lovely slipstream there from the Williams. I'm not sure who that Williams is, but certainly has to appreciate him. And he's still improving by about a tenth. So we've got a retirement from people retiring in the pits here, but Boneby seems to be on a alright lap, and he seems to be looking to be around P10 here, around the Ken and Leon right here. Can he nail the final sector here and go in the top 10? Yes, he's coming to the final corner right now, riding the curb a little bit, which didn't really maximize the final turn, and he goes P6 actually. He's done a really good final sector, improving, finding 3 tenths, and he's moved ahead of Supermug and now up to P6. So good final sector there from Boompje here. As I'm going both with Liam, who's another driver who's trying to find as much time as possible. Improved by 2 tenths, running a little bit wider, losing a bit of time there, but he seems to be around the time of AJ and Joshua here. Can he nail this final sector and be anywhere near these guys? As most of the guys are starting their final runs right now. Coming to the final corner now, the Alpine driver. As he's actually spun. The commentator's curse has gone into full effect, as he actually lost all the advantage here. Spun in qualifying, so that will be P10 max for Liam. We've seen Marty improve to P3 here. The driver who's been promoted from tier 2 has gotten to P3, and great lap there for Marty in the McLaren. So well done to him, about a half a tenth ahead of a Reservoir who's invalidated his run and won't set another lap here. As Nathan is improving by a tenth, but he needs to fight more time to get near Jeroen, who's just ahead of him, completing a lap here. It seems to be looking good for Jeroen. What can Nathan pull out the back here in the final sector here? The Red Bull driver, second in the championship here, using all of the track here, using the width of the track, coming to the final corner now. What can he do? Coming to the line using DRS, and his last bit of ERS there as Jeroen improves, and Nathan takes pole position here for the Red Bull team here. And that was an amazing final sector here from Nathan, beating Jeroen, but there's still guys setting a lap here. It will be Reservoir who's actually spun ahead of us. Joshua won't improve. Rens is going into P10, beaten Steiny and Liam, who's spun on that the final corner. And that is it. It's pole position for Nathan. So Nathan trying everything still to keep the championship somewhat alive still, and he's managed to do so by grabbing pole position here by about a tenth ahead of Jeroen. And then Marty was promoted from tier 2 up to P3 here. Very exciting qualifying session here, but all the drama and the excitement is gonna be seen here in the race. As actually we've seen Ken has improved to P4 in the Haas with a 17.4, 1 thousandths ahead of Reservoir here. So Reservoir must be kicking himself after invalidating in turn 1. AJ P6, Evans in P7, Boompje P8, Supermug P9, who crashed out early in this qualification. Rens P10, Steiny P11, Liam P12, Tigriff P13, Leon P14, CP15, Knight in P16, Harvey P17, Wade CP18, Leroy 19th, and Wouter, the championship leader, at the back of the grid after a glitch in qualifying. So Wouter's gonna be looking through the comeback drive here in the race. And like I said earlier today in this stream, if he's going for a championship drive, it's a perfect way. It should be a perfect opportunity to win the championship. As we can see now, it's dry conditions for this Australian Grand Prix here. I was just waiting for the players to load in now. Very exciting qualifying session here. Of course, many good laps set there, especially for Marty, was promoted. Was being promoted from tier 2, like I mentioned a couple of times now already in this stream. But still, amazing qualifying from him. I think Restify should be satisfied with P5 right here, as we're quickly gonna get the tires up right here. Can we get the tires up? Yes, we can. As you see, Nathan is going for a set of medium tires, trying to get the quick start here and then build an advantage against Jeroen, who's going for a set of hards here. Jasper, welcome to the stream. Jeroen is going for a set of hard tires, trying to be quicker near the end of the race. Might be a bit of a risk with safeguards coming out later, potentially, or early on. But then again, it's always a risk here. With Marty now in P3, he selected a set of medium tires, trying to get a better start than Jeroen and try to get high up as possible. Ken's also going for a set of hards, rest for a set of mediums, AJ and Evans going for a set of hard tires, and Boom a set of mediums. Jeroen letting more than 10 cars in front of him. That's a penalty. Let me call the FIA quickly. Michael Massey, be on standby, please. Boom is going for a set of medium tires. He's trying to get the jump on AJ and Evans potentially early on, as Supermug crashed in corner. But still in P9, going for a set of hard tires. Rens in P10 on the hard tires, Tiny in P11 on the hard tires, Liam in P12 on the hard tires, Tigriff in 13 for the mediums, Leon with P14 on the mediums. Seep is trying to go longer, stay out a bit longer and go for the overcut on the guys ahead and follow Liam's Tiny through, as guys are now lining up to the grid. Knight for set of mediums, Harvey set of medium, Wait's the only driver on the soft tires here, and Leroy and Wouter rounding out the grid in P19 and 20, as Evans is the only driver so far who has disqualified from the session, as he is parked too far. So we quickly now switch on board. A lovely camera shot here from the back of the cars as 5 lights. And away we go. It seems to be a solid pole start there from Nathan, but not better for Jeroen as well. Used a bit of ERS. Marty trying to go around the outside here, but they couldn't quite manage to make it work there, as Rens is actually retired from the session already. I'm not sure what happened there. The Mercedes driver is out. No safety car for the moment, as Supermug has spun. So there might have been contact between the two drivers here, as Nathan has actually got the perfect start like he wanted, as Jeroen has a big snap right there, losing the position to Marty. And Marty quickly running wide here, but it seems to be advantage Marty for the moment, as Marty's actually run really wide there. Now down to P6 after making a bit of contact between him and Jeroen, it seemed like. As now Leroy and Supermug make contact between each other, as Leroy is now at the back of the grid. Plenty of incidents happening on the first lap here, but as we see now on board with Wouter, he's already gained 6th position. That's a really good start for Wouter there, which manages to keep it clean despite one DNF and one crash just ahead of him. So it's a good start for Wouter. He's just got to get growing the race and he'll be fine. Marty is actually had a good launch, but just trying to overtake Wouter. Made some contact in turn 9, I think that is, or turn 8, and just lost a lot of momentum, and now down to P9 following Liam here. But as lap 1 is completed now, Nathan has cleared Jeroen of the DRS, so exactly what we predicted might happen has actually happened here. He's now got a 1.6 seconds gap. He's going to be looking forward to manage the tires here and control this gap right here, as Jeroen is always one driver to look out for. As Restify has actually moved up to P3, gaining advantage of overtaking Ken, and Marty was actually now got a moment and he spun actually here, Marty, which is quite unfortunate here, the McLaren driver on his return to tier 1. Quite a shame, but hopefully he's going to get the tires working in a good window again and grow back into the race. As now Evans is now in P3, overtaking Restify would snap there on the exit of turn 8, I think that is, or 7. Not too early. Wait, what was it? As he's now actually in the DRS right there. DRS will be enabled from this lap onwards, as Nathan will cross the lap or the line here. As Marty's got a 5 second penalty here for cutting a corner. Picked up some damage on his left end plate as well, as indeed DRS is now enabled. It looks like Marty might retire from the race, as Ken is actually the first driver alongside Marty to pick up a 3-second penalty here, as Marty's indeed retired in the pits. Not the debut he would have wanted, but there's still one McLaren in the race, which is Boompje here, as Jeroen has actually picked up a very early penalty here. This could work in the advantage of Nathan massively, as he now later on could just stick within the DRS of Jeroen, and knowing he's got a 3-second buffer for him and the race win if it stays like this, of course. So not the start Jeroen would have liked, as he's got the corner slightly there, as Wouter actually goes side by side here with Steiny and Harvey here. Harvey overtaking Wouter here. It looks like Wouter got damaged, so Wouter's really lost ground here and is presumably going to the pits right now, being overtaken by Knight right now. Both Fernandez drivers right here having a slight moment now, as Sieb is now right behind him trying to overtake Wout as well, who's losing so much time because of the damage. As now Ken has actually lost ground now, spun in the pits right here, trying to get it reversed here to get back in the race. So many spins right now off the start of the Grand Prix, and crashes, as indeed Wout has come in the pits to replace that front wing and has picked up a set of soft tires. And this is definitely not a race to be happy with for Wouter, as he's really fallen down now, and he's got to hope for a safety car since he's a pit stop behind everyone now. As Supermug, who's just rejoined ahead of him, has set the fast lap with a 20.9 here, as Wouter's now picked up a penalty on the exit here. So this is his race going from bad to worse now, but he's got to stick within the race, because there could be a safety car any moment within the race, as Leroy is now lost his front wing. So plenty of crashes happening in the Grand Prix right here, as Leroy lost his entire front wing, doing a Sebastian Vettel, it looks like, who also lost his front wing in the race here for Aston Martin. And Leroy presumably is going into the pits for a set of mediums, losing quite a lot of time here. As we now go on board with Resify, who's still in the DRS of Evans, just saving his ERS a little bit. Evans is clearly using to defend, as he's lost all ground to Jeroen, who's managing the gap to Nathan here. And Resify is probably just saving his ERS. Same for AJ here, on 50% ERS here, just sticking in the DRS window, managing the tires, and then pouncing when he needs to, which I presume more drivers should do here. As Supermug has spun again, Sieben now with a penalty, and forgot a safety car now. The safety car is on track right now, and there's the safety car we were talking about here. That's what I meant with Wouter should just stick in the race here. As he now will catch up to the back of the field and have a second opportunity to find his way back up to the grid and work his way up to some decent points here. As I presume the medium cars will stay out as it's too early for a set of hard tires, and of course the hard runners will stay out still. As I see Nathan is going into the pits. Nathan is going into the pits, so we're seeing a different strategy right here. Is Evans gonna pit? No, of course not. Resify is not pitting. Bombi is pitting. Everyone on the medium seems to be pitting here. As Tigre seems to be staying out. He wants that track position. Same for Resify. He wants to stay in the DRS. He knows that there's carnage in the midfield. So we're seeing a different strategy here from the guys in the midfield, with Nathan being the lead runner on a different strategy right here, with Thomas or Bompje following him in P10 right now. So this could work out very well, because if you can follow Nathan through the pack, then Bompje could be on for a very good result right here. And he doesn't have loads of points here. So any points he would take right now, to be honest. And Leon right now in P11 has also decided to go for a different strategy. Same for Knight here, so it's gonna be a very interesting race right here, as Superbug has gone back on a set of hard tires. Same for Wouter here, so it's gonna be very interesting restart right here, as now Jeroen is in the lead ahead of Evans, who clearly lacks the pace that Jeroen has. Jeroen seems to be very competitive on those hard tires, but we're not, we didn't expect anything else here. But can Evans now try to stick within the DRS of Jeroen? And this could be good for Resify as well, just to follow Evans and Jeroen, hopefully, to then switch on to a set of hard tires. Because of course Nathan and Bompje, Leon, Knight have to presume their tires massively until the end of the Grand Prix here. If they're going to do that, go to the end of the Grand Prix, who knows what will happen, but I'm certain it's going to be a very exciting restart here. Only after 2 DNFs so far, despite many crashes. Then again, we're still on lap 7 right now of 29. Still 3/4 of the race to go here. Let me know your predictions quickly within the chat. So we're now seeing the cars just bunch up together now. I presume this will be the last lap behind the safety cars, behind the safety car. The beautiful Aston Martin safety car here. So now indeed the safety car is coming in this lap here. Everyone's got their ERS safe up, and they're gonna really warm up the tires now, despite it being warm conditions. Nathan wins surely. Let's see, you never know what could happen here. It was a risk going on the hard tires here, with a lot of safety cars coming out around Australia. But let's see how it's gonna go, as Jeroen is taking his sweet time here to warm up his tires and go whenever he wants to. As he's gone now earlier than expected, which may have called out Evans and surely Resify here. As it's the restart of CRC CRL tier 1 here, as Jeroen didn't have the greatest exit here, which may lead to him being vulnerable against Evans, as plenty of drivers warming up the tires behind, seeing a lovely weave right there from Liam to T-Griff, back all the way back to Leon. I'm pretty sure it was lovely footage that is, but it's actually AJ overtaking Reservoir right now on those hard tires. So good job there from AJ, trying to stick within the DRS now of Evans, who's, like we said, has to try to stick within the 1 second window of Jeroen, and is certainly doing that right now. As we see Reservoir being overtaken again, he's actually got front wing damage. I'm pretty sure he lost his front wing hitting the wall on the inside there, on it, trying to warm up his tires. So this has really ruined Reservoir's race, as all the cars he's mathematically just a pit stop behind everyone now, and he's trying to go. He's gonna hope for another safety car here, as now Stein is gonna overtake him for P7, and now Nathan behind him, as Leroy now to P15. Both Aston Martins going back and forth. So you see most likely Reservoir peeling into the pits any moment now. It's gonna make his car a little bit wide, and he goes into the pits. There's a really there's a big shame there for Reservoir, getting damage after the restart here. I'm not sure what happened here, but that's the way it is surely now. As we now on lap 9 of this Australian Grand Prix, it's Evans really sticking behind Jeroen right here, which he couldn't manage to do on the first stint, but he's doing a good job right now, with AJ getting really close now in the DRS window, and Liam has lost quite a lot of time, of course, trying to overtake Reservoir here, 2.5 seconds behind AJ here, as Tigrev also stayed out from the safety car. He's now the lead medium runner who stayed out, as the car behind is Liam's teammate Harvey. So Tigrev is in that Alpine sandwich right here. Quickly followed behind is Steiny and AJ, or AJ, Nathan. I'm sorry, Nathan, for getting the wrong name here. As actually Nathan going down the inside right here of Steiny here, going side by side, just leaving enough room for each other. You can clearly see the different turn they made. It's clearly worked out here, as drivers went side by side, nearly making contact, but giving enough room to each other here, as DRS is now enabled once again, with Jeroen still leading the field, half second ahead of Evans, and just ahead of AJ here in P3. So AJ the lead Ferrari runner at the moment. He's really using that ERS to get back up to the field here and get in the DRS window here, as Liam is trying to manage the gap here, but it's of course very tough without DRS, as Reservoir has picked up a penalty in P18. Really unfortunate damage for him, but he's got to stick within the race, as there could always be a safety car. Likewise what happened with Wouter, as Supermug has also picked up a penalty in P15, lost DRS to Wouter here. As you see now Nathan going side by side with Steiner, using the ERS here, going down the inside, but thinking better of it now, using the DRS and ERS to try to overtake the Haas driver, going around the outside here on the left here, and he's being squeezed out by Steiny. This is the vulnerable time that Nathan is losing here behind the Haas. Steiny proving his inner Kevin Magnussen here for the Haas team. I'm pretty sure Günther Steiner is loving this performance right now from Steiny, holding up Nathan here. But Nathan's got to be patient, because he's pretty much a pit stop ahead of everyone here, and I think Bompy is thinking that as well. He's used quite a lot of ERS though, Bompy has, but he's just sticking within the DRS window to manage his tires and effectively be a pit stop ahead, as Knight is actually lost position now to Seep, who's on the medium tires, trying to get the medium tires to work in a good window of course, and now trying to catch up to Leon here. But the struggle for Seep is he's got to make another pit stop here, as the medium tires just won't make it till the end of the Grand Prix here. unless there of course be a safe car which will make the grid will bunch up again. But for the moment it's not looking ideal for Seep here, but he's gonna keep on going regardless, which we admire of course. Griff is managing to stay behind Liam, which is pretty impressive because you normally would expect the medium tires to somewhat drop off already right now, as Leon has actually seen getting the overtake done on Bonepie here, so maybe using a little bit too much ERS has left him vulnerable for Leon and nothing to use for defending here, as we've got a lovely shot on the main straight with Evans really close to Jeroen now, using pretty much all of his ERS now to stick within the DRS window of Jeroen, but he's doing a solid job right now. Actually got a spin right now, I'm not sure from who it was, I think it was, oh, it's Resvi, sorry, apologies, I'm pretty sure I saw a yellow flag in sector 1 as Wouter is now going side by side with Knight here, squeezing him. Does the Merc driver here going side by side with each other here, with the Ferrari driver here. On the inside we have Knight, on the outside we got Wouter taking better of it, going to turn 7 and now 8 here, and this looks to be a lovely battle between both drivers here, both from Relentless of course, so I'm pretty sure the team boss from Relentless is watching right now with the eyes close right now, because of course both of the drivers battling each other. Of course it's not a team championship, but you still want to be careful, as now Wout's got a really good exit here against Knight and gets the move done here, as Knight actually trying to get back at him. We've got another spinner here, it's Waitsy. Oh, it's actually Steiny. Steiny has spun unfortunately. He was in a battle with Leon, it seems like, as Ken is now giving the place back to Steiny. It was unfortunate for Steiny because he was in a battle with Nathan, Leon and Bonepie here. Quickly going back to the battle for P1 right now. Jeroen has picked up his 3-second penalty here, so it's looking quite good for Evans right now, even though he's losing the 1 second window nearly, as Harvey and Nathan are nearly going side by side in the midfield battle right here. As see on board from the back of the Alpine, we've got Nathan, Leon, Bonepie, Seep and Leroy all within us, the DRS train here. And now Nathan is getting a run here behind the Alpine driver. Are we going to right? It looks like it, as Nathan is getting the move done side by side with the Alpine driver. And then on the left, on the right, sorry, we had Leon trying to get past as well, but just couldn't make it work, as Nathan is now up, as we've got the spinner hit. Harvey was going into the wall, and it's a DNF. Another DNF here, the third DNF, and it's a virtual safety car here. Oh, it's actually a full safety car. Full safety car, as the race is wide open after the Alpine of Harvey has crashed out, which will open up the strategy once again. And we see Jeroen, Evans, AJ, Liam, T-Griff all going into the pits, and now Nathan is on the back foot here, as his, let's say, undercut or pit stop in the first safety car is now on the back foot, as the guys behind him will have fresh tires. As he's really got slow up here, oh my goodness, that was really close between him and Leon. But now you can see from Jeroen onwards, he's now in P4 on fresh medium tires here. But then again, he is on 6 seconds of penalty, so he's got to really pull it out the back here to make this strategy work here. Supermug for the Alfa Romeo team as well in P5, so good job so far from the Alfa Romeo boys, despite Supermug having a really not a clean race at all so far, but he's still in contention for a decent position here, as he's only pitted 1 lap earlier compared to Nathan, Leon and Bonepie here, and Knight, who's now in P6, just ahead of Evans, who's, despite being a second behind Jeroen, is now 3 positions behind him. Sums up how close it actually was, and how every tenth can make the difference, because if you literally gain 2 tenths, you could be ahead of Knight here, which is one less car to overtake, of course. And AJ is behind him, and then Liam in P9, Tigger P10, on the hard side, so he's actually looking really good as well, because he's one of the many drivers on a different strategy as we've got. Nice one. Nice one. We've got sweaty virgins in the chat right now. Piss off, we don't need you. Get out of here. As Harvey's now left the session in P18. Quite unfortunate, he was in the battle with Nathan, Leon here, but just the way it is. And he's looking to bounce back. As actually, oh wait, he's going to the pit. I reckon he's going to put on some medium tires here for the AlphaTauri team here. And indeed he does. Instead of medium tires, loses about, he was P11 before and now is down to P17, but he's now on that fresh medium tire, so he can really make that tire work till the end, so that's good for him. If he can keep it clean, then he surely will gain positions of penalties here, as there's 6 cars ahead of him with penalties, and Jeroen has got 6 seconds of his own, so not saying he's going to be close to him or anything, but there will be many more drivers with penalties, so just gotta stick in the race and take advantage of those penalties here, is eventually what I'm trying to say. As now the drivers are warming up the tires, after presuming a restart at the end of this lap, as I say, it's going to be pulling somewhat away now as Nathan's getting closer. And indeed, got it spot on again. Safeguard is in this lap with now Nathan controlling the pace here. Nathan controlling pace here, going really slow here. Likewise to Jeroen on the first safety car restart with now Leon the car following. And Boombi now in P3. He's gonna have Jeroen following, who's trying to get past of course him as quickly as possible, since he wants to use those medium tires to full effect here. Safety car's nearly in the pits now, on board with Nathan here on the outside view here. With a lovely Red Bull car taking his time here. Is he going to the same spot as Jeroen? He is not. He's still waiting. Still yellow flags as Restvai actually spun here behind the safety car. What an amateur. As now Nathan has gone in the final turn. And Leon has nailed that quickly, as we see the weaving once again here on the main straight, as we now on the restart of the Grand Prix, and like we predicted already, Jeroen using those fresh medium tires to full effect, overtaking Boompi here, who's really just running his own race. That's actually Knight and Tigrev as spun, it looks like. Tigrev had a moment, it seems like, but it's Restvai seems like with a moment again, and Knight with a moment as well. So now on the restart of this Grand Prix, a chaotic restart here from all the drivers. Evans is really wide right there. He's definitely lost some positions, as it looks like, but he was right behind. He was behind Supermug, so he's definitely lost some ground as well. As Leroy is now in P10, going side by side with Wouter here. With Wouter on the outside, things better off it, as he's in a clear championship position. He wants to get as many points as possible and not take unnecessary risk here. But he's got a really good exit right here. He's got a really good exit here, going down the inside of Leroy here. Lovely move there from Wouter. Now in the top 10 here on those medium tires. Does have a penalty here, but he's got really good pace, I reckon. So he's gonna try to get 3 seconds clear to get, of course, as many points as possible, and try to go overtake cars ahead, like Evans and Tigrev, who's actually getting overtaken now. Tigrev by Evans here, because Evans got the fresh medium tires, and move done by Evans. Lovely job. Hopefully he can use those tires to catch up now, and Reservoir has retired in the pits. What a freaking amateur, retiring in the pits. Shame for him, of course. As Nathan is now in a battle with Jeroen again, but now it's Jeroen once again chasing Nathan here, but now within the DRS window here. Jeroen using all of that ERS here to overtake Nathan. Is really close, it looks like. Going on the outside here. And he's get the move done right here. What a move there from Jeroen against Nathan. That's a brilliant overtake here. As now the move is not done yet, with Nathan going around the outside now, trying to stick within the battle with Jeroen. This is a lovely battle between Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull here of Jeroen and Nathan. A lovely overtake there from Jeroen around the outside, and Nathan really tried to stick his nose in there, but Jeroen just gained so much momentum. As there's another retirement here, and that's, I think, the third safety car. It is. I'm not sure what happened to the Haas car of Ken here, but it's another retirement. As Supermug is also retired now on the main straight here during the safety car period. Absolutely unbelievable here. Absolutely unbelievable scenes right here. As 2 retirements now has brought out the third safety car here. Of course, with guys having done their mandatory pit stop already, I don't expect many changes now. Apart from, you could see maybe some guys go on a set of soft tires to try to attack the leaders here, for we've got nothing to lose. But that with Supermug and Ken retiring, that is the 8th retirement of the session already, which is quite a lot here. It clearly shows Australia is just such a tough track to get right here. To all the guys who have survived so far are gonna get some decent points here. I'll talk about it. Seep is also retired here. We completely missed that. I do apologize to that. He retired just before Recify did. I completely missed the message. So we've got Rens, Marty, Harvey, Seep, Recify, Ken and Supermug all on the retired list for the moment. As I got Leon and Boompje pitting. Same for Wouter, looks like. No, Wouter not. It's Leon, Boompje and Evans all pitting for a set of soft tires. So we did think something like this could very much happen here, and indeed it has happened here. Well, actually, Leon is going for a set of medium. Yeah, Leon's going to set up medium tires again. He's gone back to the old set, but Boompje is going for a set of soft tires here, and Evans is going for a set of hard tires. So Boompje on a different strategy right here, on those soft tires here. Really trying to get a different strategy on right here, and try to pull his way back up to the field. He did notice he didn't have the greatest of restarts on the first attempt, and probably thought, I'm gonna lose many positions on the restart here. I might as well pit for a set of soft tires and try to overtake people instead of being overtaken. Let me get a quick rundown of the positions right now, with Jeroen back in the lead on the medium tires ahead of Nathan and AJ. And then P4 we've got Liam. P5 now Wouter here for the Ferrari team. So like we say, just stick in the race, and now you can find yourself up in a quality position like we see here for Wouter, who is now in P5 on the same strategy as AJ, Jeroen and Liam. Tigriff on the hard tires, so he's going to be one to look out for potentially at the end of the Grand Prix here, as of course the medium tires will start to slowly fade away, and then Tigriff might gain some ground on them. With Leroy, who's had like 4 or 5 crashes, I'm pretty sure. This race is now in P7, so anything can happen, as you can see. But now Waits, who's also had some couple of crashes and front wing losses, now in P8, so fair play for him sticking in the race. Steiny, I would have expected him to pit, because everyone behind him is now on the soft tire here. And the first soft runner is Boompje, and then Leon, and then Joshua, who's going for a set of medium tire. So he reckons the soft tires won't make it till the end, or won't be pretty at the end of the race. But Knight, Boompje and Leon think otherwise. So this safety car restart will be very interesting, with Nathan trying to stick within the 1 second window of Jeroen and trying to bounce later on. But his tires will also be going off, with his tires being 14 laps old right now. And there's still 9 laps to go after the lap which is completed right now. As we see, the safety car will be coming in this lap about now, I reckon. Might be a late call? No, I don't think it will. Will have to be a very late call. Despite that, of course, the drivers are warming up their tires, just to be sure. And it's indeed a late call here from Bert Melander and the FI, as Jeroen is now warming up his tires once again. Is he gonna go early once again? No, he's not. After a late call there from the FI. Very, very interesting. He has Jeroen still lining up and trying to warm up his tires, and is gone now, as he's really called Nathan out here potentially, with AJ being really close here, as we see the slingshot effect once again for the third time, as we are back racing again here for the Australian Grand Prix here, with 8 or 9 laps to go here. It's gonna be a very exciting Grand Prix, as Boompi is already past Steiny here, and Wouters is trying to overtake T-Griff here, or they're at least in the battle here. I'm pretty sure Wouter was ahead of T-Griff already, so Steiny lost 2 positions already on those medium tires, so the soft tires working really well, as Leon has made a really ambitious move right here down the inside of Boompi. We saw just now at the end of the stream here, it was a really ambitious move. Both drivers making slight contact with each other, but a lovely move. As now Evans is now going side by side with Steiny. Steiny getting really just overtaken here, left, right and center here in the Haas. Likewise in real life, of course, the Haas going backwards from qualifying to the race. Here as Wade is now being overtaken by Leon. Leon is doing really well here, as Steiny went fully sideways pretty much there, as we saw on stream. But we have got to check the progress of Leon here, who's doing a really good job on that restart here, as he's now lining up the car ahead, which is Leroy, the only Aston Martin left in this race here. Going to turn 1, he's gonna have way better traction here than Leroy, using the ERS here, trying to stick now in the slipstream of Tigger, braking late here and going up to P7 here, and his next target will be T-Griff on the hard tires, who's lost DRS to Wouter, who's following the pace of Liam and AJ and Nathan, who's lost 2 seconds already with his tires starting to go off. But he has to remember that there's a 2 second or there's a 6 second penalty in total for Jeroen if it stays like this. So Nathan is still in a shot to win this Grand Prix, but AJ must be licking his fingers as well and smelling blood here and trying to get a win for Ferrari here, and potentially overtaking Nathan still in the standings, as Knight and Waitin are going side by side. Both drivers on the soft tires. That's damage for Steiny, unfortunately. Steiny with some damage now going into the pit. I think that will be a retirement in the pits for Steiny. Shame he couldn't really do anything about it. I think Wade just got stuck on the curve there and lost the car there. Now Evans has gone to P8 with Leon now in P6, already in the DRS window of Wouter here. But this is where it gets tough, because Wouter is in the DRS train of Nathan here, so it's gonna be very tough for him right there, as Boompi is trying to squeeze out Leroy here, going fully wide, making contact here, going on the grass even, Boompi is, but still getting the position done here. He has lost a second now to Evans, who's somehow overtaking him outside of the stream here. But Boompi is gonna have to use those soft tires to now get within the 1 second window of Evans, who's in a 1 second window, of Tigre here, who's really falling backwards here. Of course the hard tires are of course way low grip than the soft tires. As you see, Leon is really pushing quite hard. Now Leon using a bit of ERS here. I think it's better to save up and try to overtake Wouter when the opportunity is there. Of course Wouter does not make a lot of mistakes here, hence why he is the championship leader here. Now you see AJ trying to overtake his brother here, as Waity has spun unfortunately in turn 2 here, but AJ trying to make the overtake work, and only now Jeroen only needs 2 seconds here to clear Nathan of the win here. So it's really interesting. Nathan defending for his life here, trying to get the win here with only 6 laps remaining of this Grand Prix. But AJ is also looking for the win, but he has to be aware that Leon, who's now overtaking Wouter, here, are going to be chasing them and trying to gain as much as well. So it's a really difficult scenario to be in for AJ here. But as you can see now, Nathan is losing about 3 tenths in this final sector to Jeroen here. So it's going to be really tight near the end of this Grand Prix. You can clearly see Jeroen has used all of his ERS to gain as much time as possible, whilst Nathan has 50% left still. So that's something to be aware of at the end of this Grand Prix. Another gap is 4.8 seconds. Starting with the fastest lap here in P12. I'm pretty sure it will count, I'm not too sure. But what will AJ do here? Is he going to try to overtake Nathan as quickly as possible? Or is he going to wait for Nathan to slowly catch up back to Jeroen? As Jeroen's tires won't be on the will not be the same in a couple of laps time. But then again, there's only 5 laps left. As Tiger picks up a penalty now. Another driver with 3 seconds of penalties. Waity now picks up another 3 seconds as well. So plenty of penalties coming in. So the guys without penalties will really benefit from this. But I think it's best for AJ to overtake his brother here and try to catch after Jeroen, because Nathan is just losing a considerable amount of time here to Jeroen, which will cost him, I think, the race win. But there's still a second in between with only 4 laps to go. AJ using his ERS here, but he's thinking better of it. As Leon is trying to line up Liam here, of course he is still in the battle for that podium spot here. The soft tires are starting to fade a little bit. Now AJ has actually had a moment here and has lost position here. I think he was a little bit too eager here to overtake his brother. He's now down to P5 here. So like we said early on, if you're too eager, if you try to overtake someone, it's always a risk with the cars behind being so close. And AJ's made that slight mistake and lost 2 positions of it. So that's the difference in this league. Every mistake will punish you big time. As actually Leon's now going for the move down the inside of Liam here. What a move there from Leon in the Williams. And he's now going to set after Nathan here. And there's still grip left on those soft tires here. Can Leon win the Grand Prix here? It would be a shock of many events here, as Liam is really struggling on those medium tires with AJ and Wouter, the Ferrari guys, following behind. I think Wouter's just thinking right now, alright, I've got the championship, such an advantage, I don't want to throw the points away here. Just consistent points is good enough here. So I'm both with Leon right now. It does seem to be doesn't seem to be catching as much anymore to Nathan here. So it looks like the soft tires are slowly but surely starting to fade away here, despite pretty much matching his personal best in the first sector here. And good news for Nathan is the gap is maintaining with him and Jeroen. So with AJ making that mistake in turn 5 or 6, it's allowed Nathan to have clean air and drive his own pace, which might be the downfall of Jeroen not getting the race win here. But there's still 2 laps to go when Jeroen crosses the line, as we've got another retirement in the pits from the AlphaTauri. So both AlphaTauris will not score any points here. Also it will be a showdown to the line here for who will win the Australian Grand Prix here. It's gonna be very close, but I don't think Jeroen's got the tires left in him to try to beat or get 8/10 in 2 laps. It's gonna be a really difficult task, but I don't think the tires. I don't think Jeroen's got enough tires left, despite Nathan being on 22 old lap tires here. As Leroy is actually spun and make contact with Knight here. Knight has lost his front wing, definitely. Yep, his right end plate is gone here. As Leroy's picked up a penalty now. Big shame for Bumpy as well, because he was, at the end of the day, he was the lead soft runner, but just wrong timing, trying to overtake people potentially, which led to other guys overtaking, like Evans here, who's now behind AJ here. AJ's really lost his tires now. That's actually same for Leon here, who's really being chased down by the Alpine of Liam here. So close behind here, trying to get a run going, but then again there's also a room behind, using his last bit of ERS as we're starting the final lap of this Australian Grand Prix now, with a 3-way battle for P3, and then still a battle for the lead here for who's gonna win here in CRL Tier 1. An absolutely exciting end to this Grand Prix here, as Leon is trying to defend for his life here in the Williams, using every bit of his tires, but his soft tires have passed his prime now indefinitely, as he's losing 2/10 compared to his previous best, and Liam is just trying to save as much as possible here, actually using a bit of ERS to catch up again. As Bobby's now picked up a penalty here. As Jeroen has picked up another penalty, so that will be a race win done. If Nathan doesn't pick up another penalty here, Nathan has got to defend here. Yes, Leon will potentially pick up P2 now if he keeps on pushing like this, as the gap will be very close between them. But we will switch on board to Jeroen, who will pick up the win on track right here in the Alfa Romeo here, but it will be Nathan in the Red Bull taking the win, doing what he needs to do to keep the championship some sort of alive. Well done to Nathan by picking up the win, and it will be Leon in second and Liam in third, and Jeroen then down in fourth, and Evans still finishing in fifth place despite having to make a pit stop quite a few times at the end there. AJ sixth. I think you'll be disappointed with that, with him being in the battle with Nathan there for the win. Just that one mistake has really just ruined his a podium for sure. But P6 there for the Ferrari driver, and right behind him his teammate who had a qualifying glitch, ending up in P7 with Bumpy then in P8, T-Griff P9, Leroy P10, and Knight rounding up the drivers who finished the race in P11. With Leon picking up driver of the day, I've got no clue who's gonna get driver of the day, because there were so many good drives today from plenty of drivers. Great comms, thank you man. My voice is dead, but I really enjoyed this race. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well, as we just loading up to the podium celebration right now, as we see Nathan walking out here with the race win, of course, here in Australia. He's gonna put some stuff on the barbecue, on the barbies already here in Australia. So Nathan, if you're watching this, get the barbecue ready, man. As you see there, picking up the lovely trophy. Adrian Newey, Christian Horner should be pretty excited about that one. As you see, the champagne here with the Red Bull, the Williams, and of course an Alpine driver rounding out the podium. Good job from all of them. We see a British driver, a Romanian, and an Irish driver on the podium here, with Nathan winning the race here from Leon in the Williams, and Liam rounding out the podium with Jeroen in 4th, Evans in 5th, AJ in 6th, Wouter in 7th, Boompje in 8th, Tigriff in 9th, Leroy in 10th, Knight in 11th, Steiny in 12th, Waits in 13th, Supermug 14th, Ken 15th, Resify 16th, Seep 17th, Harvey P18. Marty retired quite early on in P19, and Rens couldn't even complete one lap, retiring of course on lap 1. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I have to go to bed now because I'm up early tomorrow for college. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. I was your commentator today, and hopefully we'll see you guys next time out. See you later, guys.